I hope everyone's had a great weekend. Unfortunately, some incidents that took place in Orlando twice on Friday and on Saturday. One was being a concert that was regarding a young lady called Christina. She was like a musician. Unfortunately, she was shot to death at her own show. And rest in peace to her, and rest in peace to the 50 people that died at Club Pulse. Unfortunately, this video is going to be about something that I want to share in the video clip behind me, which sort of have a reference to how human beings behave with each other during a time of crisis. Um, what I'm trying to say is that I was coming off of work on Friday, and I noticed when I logged on to check my shit on the laptop, and then I see like a sudden like news feed of this beautiful girl, which I clicked on one of the articles, and it said that she was shot. But the thing is, the rest of these news organizations like Channel 7 and ABC or NBC, they all copied and pasted the same thing, that she's been shot, but there wasn't any other sources like of the suspect, or why, or if she, or what type of wound she has. But when I went on the Facebook comments, I saw nothing but like weird, odd coincidences. Like, for example, like radical terrorist comments, and like Muslim shit. Like, it was just constant hate about the Middle East, which I didn't understand, because at that time when I was asking people to send me a source of the suspect, no one at that time had any idea who the fuck shot that girl. And I'll talk about that on the next video, which I'm also announcing that I'm going to do another video tomorrow when I feel a little bit much better, that talks in reference about the Orlando incident and this video, and why I even bothered to upload it. Um, the second incident that I wanted to talk about today was that prior towards what happened Friday to Saturday morning, I saw the same shit happening in the Facebook comments during the Club Pulse incident. And but there was Twitter messages saying that people were hiding in the club, and they still didn't know who was the suspect that was shooting. And then yet in the Facebook comments, it was this constant fucking Muslim hate out of nowhere. But the second incident was apparently a Muslim, because the first incident with Christina, apparently the suspect committed suicide, so no one really know who it was. My point is, um, that even though it's fucked up how um, how these uh, how these mass murderers unfortunately think it's okay to take other people's lives, and we're supposed to hate them for it, and they're the actual bad guys. We sort of act we sort of contradict what a normal civilized society is supposed to represent, because really, throughout the Facebook comments, the past 48 hours has been nothing about arguments and competitive. Like you can tell people were competing to prove their point towards other people. For example, for like pro guns or anti guns, or no on Amendment 2, and some people were trying to promote hate against one another who oppose their views, which is stupid. It looked like a dumbass Republican and Democratic debate. Like, really, what's the point of these two groups that purposely divides people just because they have opposing views? Are you not allowed to have like more than one view on how to see a situation? If it's okay to defend yourself, and or when it's not okay to defend yourself, that's not something a law or a system will ever be able to provide you with actual answers. That's something that you have to gamble with yourself. You need to understand that you're that everyone that's a human being in today's world is taking a gamble, to take a leap of faith, to have neighbors, to take a leap of faith, to associate with other individuals that's not a part of your blood. Because guess what? Anyone in this world can take a loved one away from you by accident, or with probable cause, or without any reason. Like, honestly, anyone can get murdered for no fucking reason out there. Yet people like to shift the blame towards not having enough laws, not having enough security in this country, not removing enough weapons. It's idiotic. I think everyone's just doing this because they don't want to have to deal with other human beings. That's what's the real issue is. People want to like focus on towards their own life, towards their own objectives, and they say that they're speaking on behalf of people they care about, that they want to protect, but at the same time they want to punish people severely for wanting to protect themselves or for wanting to depend on others to protect them, which is stupid. In the end, I think that we're going all off with these situations. Whenever there's some sort of epidemic or crisis, we always ask for someone to save us from this bullshit, but really we can't save ourselves because we all contain that possibility of going that dark one day, or losing our mentality, or becoming that mentally unstable. I think that we need to start taking a much more psychological approach on how severe the human mind and the human condition is, and to start questioning if this society is even correct to monitor 7 billion people or 300 million people in America. What I'm trying to say is that there's never really enough curiosity to figure out why people become this way, because the people are more focused about punishing people and severely having them castrated or murdered in prisons. But the thing about prisons, the prisons are a hypocritical system, because it's called a rehabilitation center, but it's not. It's meant to punish people, and most of those people are still even know why they're being punished, even though they commit these fucked up acts, and they have resentment towards society. And sometimes when they're allowed to get parole and to get the fuck back out there, they can tend to repeat the same mistakes. So what I'm trying to say is that really these situations, that whatever that makes us uncomfortable, we're supposed to sweep it underneath the rug or put it underneath the bed or shove shit into the closet, hoping that will take care of them for a very long time and that they suffer. Yeah, we should stop repeating that, because honestly that shit does not work. It doesn't work. And for me to say like oh, why am I saying all these things? What makes it any different that that we've all lost someone in our lives due to an accident, due to a murder? I know, for example, someone very close to me got murdered by someone at their own job, and then just last year someone killed my sister at a truck accident. And it didn't matter what reason, what it was. Those two people were preciously taken out of my life, and you know, and really, like, did I feel the anger and you know, like the sensation that I wanted to severely have them punished and pay for it? Yeah, I did at the moment, but really, do you honestly think that that's gonna benefit my health or my family to be able to recover from those situations? We need to stop pretending that whenever a fucked up situation happens, that we have to severely punish these criminals or have them do 25 to life. It's not really like resonating to what they've done wrong, because when you put people in cages and treat them as animals, even though they committed something that was considered unhuman to us, we kind of like condition the issue to get much worse. Some people don't really kick back from that. They get much worse and become more violent over time. Yet we say, fuck that, we don't want to deal with that. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of things that that are complicated in this world today, but we can't just pretend that we have to shift the blame on towards stupid things like arguing about arming yourself and arguing about other nations coming into this country to do terrorist attacks, because each and every single fucking country, including this one, is guilty of committing a terrorist attack, yet we always have to pick a side to be okay with it, and none of it's okay. Anything involving war or mass murder should never be sanctioned at all. So you should check this video out and try to communicate with each other instead of having to pick a fucking side, whether you're red or blue, or whether you're guns free or you're not gun free. It doesn't really make sense. So tomorrow I'll probably post a video on why I'm referencing this involving the Orlando incident, and maybe a little bit more details to what else I saw amongst the 48 days, on the 48 hours, excuse me. But I'm getting a little bit tired, and I know it's been more than 10 minutes, so I'm going to play the rest of this video out, and I hope everyone has a good night. And I want to thank anyone that's really open to seeing outside of the box, that typical punishment and typical laws, and always depending on the system that's also flawed to try to fix this. It's not going to work. So check it out.
When you see thousands of people that are innocents that got killed by drones, 1 million innocents killed in Iraq, if that's not a crime against humanity, what is a crime against humanity? A lot of shit comes up that people would want to vote on, like the bailouts, the war, all things of this nature. There's a lot of things that people would like that's going to affect us. We would like to vote on this, but you don't get to vote on it. You get to vote on a representative. These people are going to represent you once they get into office. And think about some of the laws that are in place to protect corporations. Think about some of the laws that are in place that fuck people over every day. They wouldn't be there if people were voting for them. We all have this desire to have someone lead us. We all have this feeling where we need someone who's smarter and wiser, who represents us. You know, and when you're really fucking dumb, the problem is really dumb people, they get a say in everything too. And they're subject to a lot of tricks. They're subject to nationalism. They're subject to these kind of ridiculous rah America speeches that don't say jack shit. They say nothing. It's all just this cheerleading fucking event, and they're subject to it. They can't help it. They're dumb. They don't know they're being bullshitted. They grew up around dumb people. They go to work with dumb people. There's no one in their family that's interesting or asks any questions at all, and they just get sucked right into it, man.
This society is so greedy, we're willing to go to war. We're willing to go places and send these big metal machines that kill people and fuck people up just so we can make more money. And the way our society is set up, I mean, I've heard it argued, and argued successfully, that our society runs on war. You know, it runs on the domination of the other parts of the world. And literally, that's the only way you can control a gigantic chunk of the globe. You have to keep everybody down, you know, and that's what our society is based on.
We can't be fighting over each other because, you know, this guy's like 1 million people die in Iraq, and everybody goes, hey, as long as it doesn't happen over here. But it is, that is over here. It's just over here, over there. It's the same thing. It's some people you don't know that were born somewhere else who fucking got jacked. You get trapped in that whole idea of, you know, this is my team, these are my people, and, you know, someone fucking plays a country music song and throws up a flag, and I'm in. Fuck it. It feels good. Feels good to be in, right? Feels good to be, God bless America. Feels good. Singing around with a bunch of other people and you're all drinking. We're the fucking baddest motherfuckers on the planet. Woo! And that's how people get recruited. It's a clusterfuck, man. These poor fucking kids, man. Can you imagine being 18, 19, being talked into doing this shit for a bunch of bloodthirsty motherfuckers who just are trying to get whatever they're trying to get over there, whatever the fuck it is, whether it's lithium, you know, minerals in the mountains that they use to make cell phones, whether it's 90% plus of the world's opium supply, 90 fucking percent. That is a multi-billion-dollar business. And if you think these fucking industrialist cocksuckers that are running the world are gonna leave that money behind, you're fucking crazy. Dude, they've got United States Army troops guarding Poppy Field. There's fucking so much heroin there. I mean, it's incredible. The fucking brother of the president of Afghanistan, his brother was selling heroin and getting paid by the CIA. I mean, god damn it. Heroin is absolutely addictive, okay? People who try heroin get hooked. Heroin is everywhere, okay? So you need to sell it. Someone's selling it. Who's selling it? I don't know, but 90% of it comes from this one place where we have to be to save our freedom. You can't criticize it. Because if you criticize it, you're a shithead, you don't appreciate the troops and what they're doing for you, and that's not the case at all. I just don't like the idea of these fucking people leading us in any direction where you need to sacrifice your life. Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe them. when there's been so many fucking lies. I mean, the more you look it up, the more, I mean, you go into any of the stories on the weapons of mass destruction before we invaded and compare them to what we actually know that they really knew when they said that. It's like they did it on purpose. They wanted to get in there for whatever fucking reason. And if it's some crazy, the world is going to end if we don't stop this, but we can't tell you shit, like, I would love to believe you. I would love to believe that the reason why you're not telling us exactly what the fuck is going on is because you're really protecting us from some insanely evil thing that if we knew about it, society would collapse. But our strong, brave, powerful leaders are going to guide us without our knowledge. I would love to believe you. If you weren't all full of shit.
We're going to have to step back and look at it all in a different way. And I don't think you're going to get that from just voting for president and dealing with all this nonsense that we have right now with the fucking, with the two-party system. It's just, we're spinning our wheels. We're not getting any traction. This is all nonsense. It's the same nonsense with Obama that we dealt with Bush. Special interest groups controlling what people say and do and what direction the country goes in and save us from the bad guys. Shut the fuck up, man. It's the same nonsense. Operation Northwoods was something that was plotted out during the 1960s, signed by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, where they were going to fake terrorist attacks on American civilians and blame it on the Cubans so we could go to war with Cuba. It involved a bunch of shit, like blowing up a jetliner. They were going to have a drone jetliner and blow it up and say that people died on it, and this was going to get everybody fired up about going to war with Cuba. They were even going to attack Guantanamo Bay. They were going to arm Cuban friendlies to attack Guantanamo Bay so that we would have to go to war with Cuba. This is like our own government. They plotted this out. This is like real shit. I remember when I saw JFK, the Oliver Stone movie, and that was like part of the premise that JFK, that Oliver Stone was pushing in this film, is that they killed JFK because they wanted to stay in Vietnam because they were making a lot of money in Vietnam. And I remember at the time seeing that movie going, that is absolutely ridiculous. Who the fuck believes that? Are they going to start wars and keep wars going just so that they can make money, even though it's not a real war, it's not a just war? Nobody wants to go to war. That's stupid hippie bullshit. Well, as I got older and I started investigating history, you know, from way back to Vietnam, to the Gulf of Tonkin, to all the shit that happened when Kennedy and Nixon were in office, to all the shit that happened with Reagan and the Contras in Nicaragua and the Sandinistas, and all the different various things that have happened in human history where it's clear that the United States is, you know, we're fucking around with all kinds of things all the time to make money. And that there's a bunch of people that are profiting off of war. And then they're not just profiting like a little bit of money here and there. You know, you look at like what's going on with like how much money Halliburton made from the war. We're talking like billions and billions of dollars. That's like real money. Eisenhower leaving office, and he's giving a speech warning the American people about the power of the military-industrial complex. You know, when you watch that, you're like, well, here is a sitting president who's leaving office, but the most important thing that he wants to tell people is that you have to be careful because there's a machine here that wants to go to war. There's a business behind going to other countries and fucking people up and taking their shit. And they come up with reasons to do this. And they sacrifice American lives to do this. And they do it for profit. And it sounds absolutely ridiculous. It sounds absolutely outrageous that the greatest country on earth could be involved in something like that from the get-go. But yet, that's what history says. That's how it points. It points in that direction. It points in that direction that it's going in.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
So, anyways, the whole point of this video, I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow. I just feel a little bit under the weather, and at the same time, it's been more than around 20 minutes. Whoever stayed this long to just hear me out for a bit, I appreciate it. And I know that everything you probably saw from this video sounds very absurd, but we live in a world with infinite amount of fucked up possibilities, and I'm not trying to say to get sucked into the doom and gloom and all the paranoia. I'm saying that instead of being afraid to find out what might be the other causes of making our society not so safe, is that you should be not happy, but you should embrace acknowledging things that will broaden your perspective of what might be causing all these fucking distorted issues in today's world. The shootings were fucking horrible. There's nothing in the world that you should compare a war and a shooting. Like that, there shouldn't be any comparison and contrasting whether it's less amount of bodies and a lot of bodies. The point is that just like I just showed you this, and you can do a fact check the video, and check out Operation Northwoods. I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow, but there's a lot of fucking sinister shit out there that takes place whenever someone wants to protect other people from around the world, or to protect people from their own home. And there's people that take advantage of people's kind hearts to do that, to exploit them to negative fears, to negative dangers or purpose, to do whatever it takes to protect their family or friends without really considering the thought of how those disasters and those fucked up situations even manifested. So I'm gonna let you guys go, play the last clip of this video, and I hope everyone has a good night. And you don't need to comment on this thing. You can do whatever you want. Just be a little bit more open-minded and be more respectful of others. Just because they have an opposing view doesn't mean that you should be disrespectful and try to be vengeful and trying to fucking make them feel horrible for considering protection or not. So I'm gonna play this clip, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Tower 7 disturbs me the most. That Tower 7 just went whoosh, just like a controlled demolition. And everybody's like, yeah, but it had holes in the building, and you see the hole in the building. Yes, I see the hole in the building, but wouldn't it fall towards that hole? Why is it falling like that? That doesn't make sense to me with Tower 7. The way Tower 7 fell, it just kinked in the middle and fell down free fall speed. Almost. I mean, everybody they'll nitpick at you. Oh, it was 1/10 of a second slower than free fall. Even if it was just close to free fall, that's crazy. There was no resistance. It just gave up. Why wouldn't it wiggle and collapse towards where it got jacked? It just seems like a controlled demolition. That bothers me.
All right. So good night. Probably won't want to talk about that some other time, but I just hope everyone gets rested, gets back to work, and hopefully tries to adjust to this fucking insane mayhem that's been happening around the world and now in Florida. So I hope everyone has a good night.